This lesson will introduce database tables and how we can construct them from entity relationship diagrams. In relational databases, entities and most relationships are represented as rows and columns in tables. Attributes generally translate to columns. And as you will see, many relationships involve references between different tables. Each row in a database is known as a record. We will use these words row and record interchangeably from here on out. Take, for example, our user entity from before. 5 such users could appear in a table like so. Note that each cell contains the value of a record's attribute. In this case, username, password, and email are all strings. Also recall that emails may or may not be null, so a user is not required to have an email. The username and password, however, are non-nullable in the diagram, as the lines from them to the user entity are bold, so they are required, and every record in our database has both attributes. Notice that Alice and Carol are both using the same password. This is allowed as per our ER diagram since the password attribute is not underlined and thus uniqueness is not enforced. It should be said, though, if there is a chance someone else in the world is using the same password as you, it's probably not a great password choice. Relational database theory requires every table to have what's known as a primary key attribute. What does that mean? Let's look at a formal definition. A primary key is composed of one or more columns or attributes with a unique value for each row. When this primary key is a tuple of multiple attributes, it is called a composite primary key. The tuple of attributes that make up a composite primary key must be unique for each row. That means that even if some of the attributes that make up the primary key are not unique on their own, the entire combination of attributes must be unique. A primary key must also be non-nullable. Now here's a question for you. Take a look at this ER diagram and the corresponding table. Then think about the answer to this question. Which one of the columns in the user's table could be used as a primary key? I'll let you think about that for just a moment. You can even pause me for a moment while you think of your answer. I'll give you the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's the answer. Only the username could serve as a primary key on its own, since it is required and unique to each user. The password could not serve as a primary key because even though it is required, it is not unique to each user. The email does have a uniqueness constraint, but it could not serve as a primary key because it is not required. Although the username column could be used as the primary key, a common convention that allows for maximum flexibility is to require an additional ID column on every table to serve as a unique identifier. This is usually a sequential integer, or a UUID, which is a unique, randomly generated formatted string. This ID value is usually expected to remain constant, meaning it will not change. If we ever need to modify the user entity, such as removing the username attribute or forcing emails to be required, the primary key ID field can remain intact and unchanged throughout any such modifications. This makes it flexible and maintainable. If we use the username as a primary key, for example, then we would be stuck having to keep the username attribute, even if we wanted to get rid of it, and have users just use their emails to log in instead. It also provides a reliable way to look up data records. If a user changes their username, they can still be looked up by the same ID attribute, which remains constant. As we will see in the next lesson, primary keys are often referenced by other database tables, which is another reason we want to keep the primary key constant. To indicate a primary key on an ER diagram, bold the attribute name. Because primary keys are always non-nullable and unique, These attributes will also be underlined and connected with a bold line, as you see here for our user entity. With this understanding of database tables, we are now ready to tackle the next lesson, database references.